tacar no carro, bicho. Um no, dois no, três, vou sarrando na PT. 4, 5, me tacar no carro, bicho. Um no, dois no, três, vou sarrando na PT. 4, 5,
Beep 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 birds on the bed the wire. Beep dum. Hey, what's up? So this is Birds on the Wire, a night edition, and as you can see, I'm all by myself. It's okay. It's all right. Don't cry for me, Argentina or Brazil or the United States, because we're just gonna hang out together, you and me. Together, we're gonna check out some of the stories that we had picked out during the week, and then we're gonna chat about it a little bit. We're gonna do a little bit of the chatteroonie because it's late at night, and I don't know how much caffeine I had, so who knows what the dyslexia and everything else is gonna do, but it's going to be fun. We've had a lot of crazy stuff happening today. I mean, it's just been nuts. And I mean, if you guys saw the confirmation hearings and things like that, it's just been going nuts, you know? And I mean, it's insane. I do want to be like, I did see this. Benny Johnson share this and thought it was hilarious.
Friends, join us! We have a spectacle!
Also, it took 3 months to build, so I don't want to waste it.
I give you the War Wolf!
That's hilarious. I gotta tell you that is hilarious. Oh, what's up? Let's see, homies in the chat already. What's up, primo? Hola, Fletcher. Hola, primo. ¿Cómo andas? Dude, what's up, my brother from another mother? ¿Qué pasó, Superman? Oh, dude, I'm so happy. I think you're feeling better. I just want you to know we've been praying for you, and it's great to see you back up and at 'em again, man. You know that I was like, man, I was worried for a second. You had me worried for a second, but I'm so glad that you're back with a vengeance. Uh, oh yeah, right? Yeah, no, still trying to get that. I can't. You know what? I have your video on how to do faces. If you guys don't know, follow. Please, Superman, you know, and he's on Twitter. He's on YouTube, and he is El Boss Man of the Legion of Memers, man. You know, I really appreciate you. He's one of those guys who's so awesome because when I got into doing this YouTube stuff, because my wife is like, you know, I have like, you know, like many of us nerds in the sphere, I have the whole like ADHD and the whole like dyslexia thing. And she's like, why don't you just do like videos and just, you know, chat with your Interflex friends? And, you know, Green Rocks is one of the first ones that I was like, you know, first friends with, and it was so awesome because I asked him for some advice how to edit and how to when I first started out, and he was like, "Sure, man," and I was like, "Dude, that is so cool," because I reached out to a bunch of people, but you and Tom Connors were like the first ones to reach out back, like. You, Tom Connors, were like, "Yeah, boo, you do this and all stuff," and I was like, "Dude, that was so cool." That you know, uh, no, 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 for real, bro. For real, bro. We always keep you up, you and your moms in prayer, especially with all the crazy stuff happening on the Middle East. Woo, woo, woo. Bro. Uh yeah, yeah, yeah. No. That stuff when you mess with your stomach, man, that's no joke. That's no joke. No, totally right, bro. Like, you know, you get into that zone and you're like, what am I doing? My wife's like, you know, you've been talking all this time. And I'm like, have I? Why don't you just go online and do it? And I'm like, all right, all right. What's up, Sarah Glenn? How you doing? Ooh, I know it's kind of late. I know it's kind of late. Thank you so much for being here. I I got into the funk where you're like, okay, hey, wait a minute, did I do that yet? And it's like, oh snap, I didn't. And then you look at the time, it's like, oh man, it's late. And then I'm thinking, am I gonna do it early or not? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, no, no, dude, you, bro, anything you need, I'm definitely same thing. Same thing, definitely. No, 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 no. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, yeah, just let me know. But a lot of stuff that's been happening. Yeah, thank you, Primo. Nice. Yeah, late nights with the owls. That's why I put the owl in the thumbnail, but we'll see what we're gonna get into. It's we had some interesting things happening. So this is from El Bright Barto. Judge orders release of Venezuelan migrant arrested in Chicago. Now Chicago's been going a little bit nuts. I got to tell you, it's been a little bit of a flux over here in Chicago. We had a lot of our brothers and sisters, are standing up finally in Chicago, and they're saying, you know what, I'm not down with all this, you know, crazy immigration stuff like that. But it's just been going a little bit too crazy. So let's see what it says. A report from ABC7 in Chicago reported that a magistrate judge ordered the release of a Venezuelan man who was arrested in a targeted enforcement operation over the weekend. And if you guys saw that, we've been covering this, man. This things are like tactical as heck. For all those people, they're rounding up the nanas and stuff like that. Nah, son, these are criminals, right? Like hardcore criminals. Over the weekend, Immigration Custom Enforcement, ICE, and Removal of Operations (ARROW) officers, along with other federal agencies, carried out a targeted enforcement operation. The actions were overseen by top officials, Trump administration, including Border Czar Tom Hoffman. According to the report from ABC, law enforcement official placed Edward Martinez Cermero, disculpa, señor, into custody in Sunday for illegally entering the United States near Eagle Pass. This article states that him, Venezuelan national, made his way to Chicago and lived with his girlfriend's parents. They appeared before the judge on Tuesday. Article does not identify the court judge who entered the matter. Broward, Texas contacted us for additional information. So I guess the judge ordered ICE to release a Venezuelan man from custody, saying that immigration officials did not have the legal paperwork necessary from detaining and deporting him. Okay, so you're illegally in the country, but this is what's happening in the sanctuary cities, guys. So I guess he has a pending criminal charge after Chicago police arrested him in January 2024 for felony retail theft. Court issued a warrant arrest for the man. He failed to appear for a court hearing, which is illegal right away. If you're an American citizen, you get arrested for that. So the report explained the case was not mentioned during the magistrate hearing. The judge reportedly only addressed the federal charge of improperly entering by an alien. Now, this is crazy too, because usually, my understanding, the judge gets a rap sheet, right? Usually you get some of the history. So this is interesting. The federal prosecutor told the judge the ICE officer filed the immigration detainer against the defendant. The prosecutor told the judge ICE would likely take him into custody if he was released. The judge allegedly responded saying this would be legally unacceptable. I'm twirling my mustache as I say it, because that's what I figured the judge did. Explaining that ICE did not have a proper judicial warrant to detain him. You don't have a proper judicial warrant. You're federal agency. It's a federal agency. That's Trump state agencies. No pun intended. The detainer just said detainer is only civil arrest. Civil requests, blah blah blah. I guess there's a surge in retail theft in the Chicago area. Many of this illegal aliens identified as Venezuelan nationals. Not today, dyslexia. I'm going to read this. So I guess he's going to be released. Now, this is the crazy part, right? Because you committed a crime, you're in the country illegally, and you're like, oh, it's just theft. These are mass rings of thefts that are happening. And this is homeboy today, the El Señor Mayor of Chicago. So see what he says. I mean, look at the face. You can see that there's like the disdain in the face, right? He's like, it just seems like homeboy is it's a little upset. You know, let me show you this. I wasn't even sharing my screen. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So this is it.
Tom Holman showed up in Chicago and within 24 hours found a convicted sex offender who has been living in our city since 2009, flouting the sex offender registry. If he can do this, why can't you?
Because that's their job. That is their job. The federal
Their
government
job's not to keep
has
the
a
people of Chicago
responsibility
safe.
to make sure that individuals who are undocumented, who have been charged with, convicted of a crime, it is the federal government's responsibility to do their part and uphold the law. Our local police department, along with our public health department, along with our other sister agencies, are working to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And as
Right.
you've stated repeatedly, those critical investments, you continue to see the results of those investments as violent crime continues to fall in Chicago.
Violent crime rate continues to fall in Chicago. Now, I would pull up the statistics, but yeah, I don't know if that's actually the case. But who am I that uh, who am I to disagree on that one? Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it's not my mayor. It's not my mayor. Uh, dude, yeah, whatever, dude, whatever clip you need, man, do whatever you need to do. Yeah, free reign, bro. Whatever you need from the channel, yeah, a clip away. You got full support, man. Uh, it's just insane, Homeboy's like, you know, I just, I don't, I just don't understand the smugness about saying that you're going to allow something that's obviously illegal. You can't do that. I mean, I came to this country legally, and you know how hard it is to do. Do you know how many thousands of dollars me and my family paid to come in the right way? It's just a lot of money, a lot of headaches, and bro, it's not easy, and a lot of stuff that you have to swallow because the people in the immigration department are not very the nicest people in the world, I could say. There was a few times the way they treated my mom, I was like going through the window. I was figuring I'm going to go through the window and take this person out, but thank God we got through the process. But man, it's a hard process. But when you finally get through it, it's nice. But you know what? All the forms for immigration, they tell you can't break the law. You have to take care of yourself. You got to be able to take care of yourself, and you can't break the law. Those are simple things, but not, obviously not here, because you get to do things like that, and you basically saying, yeah, sure, why not? Let's, once you come into the country, break all the laws. And then I'm just gonna tell you, hey, no problem. You go ahead and you do whatever the heck you want, and then it's not an issue because that's fine. We're not gonna enforce that right now. It's not our thing, right? It's not hip, right? It's not gonna be hip. You're gonna be you're not gonna be you're not going to be treated bad because, hey, we just love immigrants. And it's like you don't love immigrants. The majority of people that tell them, no, you're so nice to immigrants, it's like, oh, who's going to pick our crops and stuff like that? Dude, I pick crops. Not fun. But guess what? We don't all do that. We're not all maids and janitors. But this is going all around the United States. The people that have this upper lip, upper nose. Look at the smugness on this officer. This is a Georgia police officer, and I guess she made this video in Spanish. There's a bunch of people doing a whole lot of this virtual signaling on how they will help you break the law, right? So this is, I guess, the officer Veronica Arnold. As you can see, she's got her badge number. I think it's her badge number kind of taken with a little heart, maybe. I don't know. Why would you cover up? You're an officer, but she's in full uniform, so I guess she's fully acting out in.
And I would just note
in
the president's leadership has been remarkable during this crisis.
See, this is what happens. Go away. Go away. Yeah, there you go. So let me turn on the volume on her.
Bueno, casi toda la gente me está preguntando que explique sobre ICE y qué es lo que está pasando con eso. Entonces, lo que les quería decir sobre eso es que
She's basically saying, I mean, you could read kind of like the subtitles in English on it, but she's letting you know what's happening with ICE, right?
nosotros como policía local no estamos reportando ni llamándole a ICE para decirle que nos encontramos con una persona indocumentada.
So she's basically saying the local police, they're not calling ICE on you. They're not calling saying, hey, you're an undocumented person.
O cosas así. Entonces, lo que ICE está haciendo es independientemente de ellos. Nosotros no sabemos a qué personas están buscando, no sabemos a dónde van a estar.
They say they're independent. They don't know who they're looking for or anything like that.
Cuándo van a estar y nada sobre eso. Yo sé que la gente piensa que nosotros los estamos llamando y que estamos trabajando con ellos cuando
They think we're calling them and we're working with them.
en realidad nosotros no tenemos idea dónde van a estar, cuándo
But we don't know. We have no idea when they're going to show up.
van a estar y todo eso. Entonces, no sé si esto le puede ayudar un poquito a la comunidad. Lo único que nosotros sabemos sobre eso es que ellos están buscando a personas, a criminales violentos.
So they clear it up right there, right? Who are they looking for? They're looking for violent criminals. That's one thing that she's sharing that they do know that's not hocus pocus. Who are they looking for? Not looking for your nana, not looking for your titi, unless your nana and your titi are committed heinous crimes, right?
Violentos, pero no sabemos en qué se basan o si es lo único que están buscando, no sabemos nada sobre eso. Lo único
We don't know what they're basing or if that's the only thing they're looking for, right?
que les puedo decir es que nosotros no estamos trabajando con ellos, o sea, no lo estamos, nosotros lo que hacemos es responder a llamadas de emergencia y crímenes, y aunque encontremos una persona indocumentada, no le estamos llamando a ICE para avisarles sobre
So if we arrest you or we find somebody, we're not calling ICE.
eso. Nosotros hacemos lo que siempre hemos hecho y nada más. No estamos ayudando
We're not helping them.
ni reportándolos a
And we're not
ustedes
reporting them.
con ICE ni nada sobre eso. Entonces no sé si esto les puede ayudar como a la comunidad para tranquilizarlos un poquito.
Maybe you
y-
can,
y obviamente,
get, calm down in the community. That's
que no tengan miedo, pero en realidad nosotros no sabemos cuándo van a estar, dónde
We
van
don't
a
know when
estar.
they're gonna
Entonces,
show
yo sé
up.
que ustedes quieren que yo les diga cuándo va a haber redadas y todo eso, pero en realidad ni nosotros como policía sabemos, porque ese es un o sea, lo que ellos hacen no nos avisan a nosotros. Entonces,
So basically, she's saying that we don't know when the raids are going to take place. We don't know when they're coming and all that kind of stuff. So you have that in a sense of, okay, we don't know when they're going to come. We don't know what exactly they're going to do. So, hey, we're just going to report what we do, and we're not going to tell ICE anything, which, hey, in a sense, hey, that's fair, right? That's all good and fair. But I mean, really, we gotta ask the question, this is breaking the law, right? I mean, you are breaking it is something that's under the law. So it's just like, what are you thinking, Green says, so does my grandma. This is why I love legal immigrants to represent what their forefathers believe. Amen. I mean, totally. You know how hard it is to become a legal immigrant in the United States, and how much we have to love the United States to go through that process, because it's not an easy one. and you have that camaraderie, because you have, I mean, if you guys go, they're usually held in federal courts. When you go and you see the swearing, the pride, and everybody had, like, it's funny because they all come in, and sometimes um, they're from all over the world, literally all over the world. And when they leave, they have the little American flag, and it's such a big contrast from that. And you have all these massive amount of people with, like all their countries' flags, and Mexico and Venezuela, Guatemala, and all that stuff. And I'm like, dude, came to this country for a reason, man. And that's not cool. So we had to say, yeah, people seem to overlook those who immigrate legally at great cost and inconvenience, favor of border crosses. Amen. Amen. I mean, really? Yeah. Same in the Middle East, and we're all street. Yeah. Oh, she did, dude. She wiped her socials. The stations have been also bombarded with calls. I can imagine. I mean, you're in uniform. This is not so that she's in a trooper car. She's in uniform, and you're kind of saying to yourself, hey, I mean, when you're doing that, and then the station manager has got to, think to themselves,
hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Right? I mean, what is she doing? Yeah, an American's an American, plain and simple. That's all it is. I mean, you're either gonna be an American or you're not gonna be an American. It's one of those things. You're an American or an Americant, right? I mean, it's not gonna be it's not some kind of gotcha thing. You want to be an American or you don't want to be an American. It's kind of simple. You don't. Nobody wants to overcomplicate it. Nobody wants to make it ridiculous. It's just that's what it is. That's just all there is to it. But this to me, I feel it's kind of silly. You're supposed to enforce the law, and then you go trying to help skirt the law. I might not be the best look. I don't know. Maybe not. Don't know. I'm not casting stones into the lady, but so it's a little bit on the what's going on side when you are saying to yourself, hey, let me just talk about this what's happening and how we can help you make sure that you understand we're not helping the federal government in any sort of way. You're kind of thinking to yourself, okay, that's understandable. You don't want to help the federal government, but it's like you don't want to help the federal government control crime because you even yourself said they're looking for criminals. So this one kind of got me because I was like, I don't know where she's trying to get with this one because it kind of feels like you're kind of supposed to be doing stuff like that, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I guess there is some other controversy that we have in the hangout kind of part. Well, let's see what you guys are saying. So, they think it's some kind of heroic thing. It's not. It's just it's been the law. Yeah, but I guess it's gonna get likes on TikTok, so it's gonna be okay. It's no, completely no. It's it's one of those things, because I've always said this. I was born in Argentina, but my family's from Brazil. It's we traveled a lot, so I was born in Argentina, but my family's from Brazil. And when the World Cup comes on, we have our teams that we cheer for. We cheer for the United States. We cheer for Argentina. We cheer for Brazil. When they play each other, we remain neutral. If you can believe that, that's the greatest. This is the craziest thing. Yeah. The federal government don't play it, man. Yeah, no worries, bro. Dude, have a good night, man. I appreciate you hanging out, bro. Good looking out. And something that happened that basically was kind of what's going on with this one, because it seems that they're trying to do well. All Trump appointees are getting all these smear campaigns, right? Well, this one is Karen Levitt. They're saying she's a fake Christian, which is very interesting because I never, you never kind of hear these words kind of mentioned in the news media, right? This is the kind of stuff when you go after church or you hang out or you're on social media, right? And you're like, hey, that's a fake Christian. They're not, that's not right. But I'm like, dude, what is up with this? This is a headline. This is a headline, right? So first term Dems attack White House. She's I think that what the person doing the news interviews or something. Have no clue. I can't even remember what it is. But I guess they're criticizing her, and this is part of the.
Morning to you, coming off the briefing from yesterday. Appreciate your time. Let's get right to it. Tom Homan last night with Jesse. He's not happy. Watch.
Are you satisfied, Tom Homan, with the pace of migrant deportations?
No, we got to do more. We got to open that aperture up, which we're going to do. Here's a great start, but we're not finished, and we need more deportations, a lot more deportations, and that's what we're working on. Sanctuary cities are difficult to operate in.
So Caroline, he says two things in there. Obviously, at the end, sanctuary cities are difficult to operate in. We all knew that at the start. The other thing it says we've got to do more. Is the White House giving him all the resources that Tom Homan is looking for now?
Mm-hmm. President Trump.
I guess so. This is part of, I guess, their Tom Holland doing everything in his power. I don't know if that part comes in later. Fox News. Go away, Fox News. What is going on with you? First-term House Democrats attacking White House Secretary Karen Levitt on X as she sought to clarify White House memo rescinding an earlier policy statement on President Donald Trump's federal funding order. Karen Levitt is a fake Christian like so many in the Golden Calf administration. Oh, I can't, This is, it's the funny thing is, how they say, when they go low, we go high. Wasn't that like a thing? So I guess that's over, right? Because everybody's going low. It comes after the White House rescinded the Office Management and Budget memo that ordered the freeze on most federal grants and assistance, which was blocked by federal judge on Tuesday. So my understanding of this is that they did it to kind of check make sure all this money was going in places. And like President Trump said, nobody lost no Medicare or anything like that. So I guess she posts. So this is freshman House Republican Dave Min criticizes her on Wednesday. Levitt posted on X that it was just the memo that he had been rescinded and the Trump executive orders targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion, and their other progressive spending priorities remain intact. This is not a rescission of the federal funding freeze. It's simply a rescission of the OMB memo. Why? To end a confusion created by the court's injunction, she wrote. The precedent on federal funding remains full force and effect and will rigorously be implemented. Min's comments were directed at Levitt's aforementioned posts. Earlier, the California Democrat criticized Levitt's comments on a White House press briefing in which she said Dodge OMB also found that there were about 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. Yeah, you probably heard that clip. It's just insane. 50 million taxpayer dollars to fund condoms in Gaza. And as President Trump said, what they were using it for is bombs. Come on, man. $50 million. Have you seen the, North Carolina's pictures and stuff, all the Carolinas and the places disaster? Have you seen the stuff that's happening in California? You don't think they could use $50 million? Preposterous waste of taxpayer money. I agree. Submit mocked the Senator Trump said, claiming she was making these remarks while wearing a giant cross to let everyone know how pious and moral she is, even as she's so comfortable stating the bald-faced lie to hundreds of millions of people. He told Fox Digital to request for further comment as a person of faith. Sometimes when they say like, well, as a person of faith, sometimes you kind of like, you hear it like, well, I'm not a racist because I have a black friend. I find it appalling that this administration uses religion to advance an agenda while lying through their teeth about what they're doing, allowing children to go to bed hungry, depriving veterans of their hard-earned health care, and slashing funding for the police and first responders. Yeah, when is all this stuff was happening anyway? Who knows? Maybe it's in part of this dude's whole thing or something, but I mean, it's just, come on, son. It just feels like you're just pushing on this one. You're just kind of trying to attack her because you figure this is going to be the low-hanging fruit that you're able to kind of hold on to, right? So, I mean, I just think that's a bad look if you ask me, but what are you gonna do? I don't know. So we'll see what you guys are saying. Brazil, yeah, cool, yeah. My cousin was a capoeira maestro. Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? Yeah, that's what we're doing, it's just the prestige, right? It's one of those things to where you're kind of going, it just, I don't get it. I see what they're doing and I see why he's doing it, because you figure this is the low-hanging fruit, right? This is, you can go after the person's religion because, hey, she's a Republican, so it's fair game. If she was Muslim, then I don't think that would happen. But yeah, is it something that's gonna be taken care of? I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna do something about it, but. I would be interested to see if they would rescind it, but who knows? I don't know. This is one of those things to where you're going, hey, is it something that they would do? Probably not. Probably not. Just move my screen, and of course, I lost everything I had, of course. So let's see what you guys are saying. What's up, Heberman? Another problem with Trump is that Americans haven't started invading Greenland. We're doing it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get Greenland. It's gonna be the greenest land ever. I don't know what they call it, Greenland. It's so white, but no, it's okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a huddle in our Trump hats and figure out when the heck we're gonna invade Greenland. Because they're not doing anything with it. I mean, come on, man, just give it to us. We'll make Greenland great again. It's gonna be the next big thing, right? Oh no, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, this one. I think it was hinted at the last mess up I had with the post, but of course my screen kind of went all over the place. So let's see if it goes that way. So now I have to go into another thing, but we got the gift that keeps on giving, and he's a beast. I mean, I could say nothing else I can say about this man. The man's a beast. a true border czar. I could just imagine him with like the hat and like riding a white horse or something, like a giant Percheron horse, with like Mongols next to him. And this is him going off on Joy Reid, which, as we mentioned before, she has no joy. Definitely all the Reids, though. She does have all the Reids.
Don't actively impede our operation, because that's a felony. Don't knowingly harbor and conceal illegal alien from us. That is a felony. So there will be consequences. Absolutely.
Well, Tish James, AG here in New York, says it's all a game you're playing. Listen to this.
New York City joined the list of cities where these performative raids are taking place. We have a government right.
It's performative raid, right? It's their performative raids. Murderers, PDFs files, rapists, and all this kind of stuff. But they're performative. They're performative that they're getting rid of criminals that are here illegally, committing more crimes. That's performative. It's an interpretive dance study, Ms. Reid.
Right now, that is reckless. Reckless and also, as I've said, performative. I want to show you an image of Kristi Noem, who was just confirmed, the former governor who's confirmed as a Department of Homeland Security. It's as she's cosplaying. It's almost a game.
She's cosplaying because she's got a bulletproof vest because they are being targeted. Okay. She has the hat also because they have to tell themselves apart, because it's called a uniform. She has to put on at least parts of the uniform if she's together with everybody. So make sure nobody gets accidentally squeezed of the trigger, ma'am. All right. Yeah. So they're saying this is cosplay. And I think Ms. Reid should get into cosplay because it's fun and maybe she would get some joy out of it. But she's saying that this is cosplay. You know what's funny about this is I've seen so many memes about Kristi Noem and from us, the Hispanics and Latinos. They literally have memes of dressing up with sombreros and all stuff just so they can get arrested by her. So I think it's working. So I don't know.
Where she seems to be cosplaying, because I'm not sure what she thinks that she's portraying here. She might as well be at Comic-Con.
A federal appointed officer of the law, Ms. Reid.
James and Joy say you're reckless and you're just role playing for fun.
She's dumber than
Look at the face.
Bottom line is, let's talk about Chicago for a minute. Chicago mayor says that we put fear in the elementary schools because ICE agent went to elementary school. Total false story. What ICE did in Chicago is save children. What we did in New York today is save children. Just Chicago alone, we arrested like 9 sexual predators, most of them child sex predators. We took them.
You hear that? You hear that? That's not play cosplaying. This is actually getting stuff done that wasn't done. You ask yourself, like you heard the mayor of Chicago, that's not our job. As the mayor of the city, it's not your job to make sure there's no violent criminals in your city. Interesting. But yeah.
Them off the street. We took them off the street in New York today. We're protecting the community. We're saving children. We're going to secure that border so less Americans die of fentanyl deaths. We're securing the border so less women and children are sex trafficked. Biden administration had a 600% increase in sex trafficking. We're securing the border so less terrorists and people on terrorist watch lists get into the country. Biden, under Biden, we had a 3,500% increase in people on terrorist watch lists. No, we're saving this nation. We're making America safe again. So they need to get out of the way because we're coming. We're going to do it. They're not going to stop us.
I mean, amen on that one. I'm just sorry that really this is really cool. I really I think they're doing a great job, and I'm like, wow. The tone deafness of Ms. Reid. I'm sorry. I if I can speak to you, ma'am, I know what you're doing because everybody's doing it now, which is that gotcha moment, that whole ha ha ha. I'm gonna do like this kind of, uh, what you're actually portraying, which is performative journalism. Should we say cosplay journalism? Please, ma'am. I think you would get more ratings if you would actually cover the news every once in a while. Just saying, it's not. It is dumber than a box of rocks. Yep, she's jealous. Hey, Lady Jen, you're up with us late night birds. The decaf coffee in the house. Oh, so great to see you. I had like all my stories lined up, and then my screen like went totally haywire and went into another direction. And it's like, haha, you don't need those stories, son. I'ma tell you what you need. And then so I think I got it going now. So it's funny. Uh, so I was sent this article, and it's an interesting article that I wanted to share with you guys. So if it doesn't act up, of course it's gonna act up. Haha, I got it back. Not today, dyslexia. Oh, here we go. Here it goes. It says the right people are in panic over Trump's actions. Now, this is coming from issuesinsights.com. If you want to check it out and read the article yourself. And I will be trying to read it a little bit. The new president, through official Washington spinning Tissy, went on Tuesday. His Office of Management and Budget announced that he was temporarily freezing the $3 trillion in active related to obligation or disbursement of all federal financial assistance. As we saw before in the previous story, this is what they were criticizing the secretary of the media secretary of the White House. Media secretary of, because they're saying that you're blocking all the stuff, right? But let's check it. The executive order was blocked by a federal judge, and the administration rescinded the memo, but the message was sent. The president is serious about removing the dead wood from the federal machine. An interesting secondary effect of the order was to show just how dependent politicians, party, and government functionaries, institutions, and far too many private individuals have become on the federal dough. They've reached as if the world were ending. They reacted as if the world were ending. The 47th president is different from the 45th, and different from every president going back to the 19th century. His only arrivals will be Calvin Coolidge, a zealous advocate of limited government, and Ronald Reagan, whose rhetoric about pulling back government was spot on, even if his execution wasn't always in the line with his lofty goals. Yeah, maybe we'll do something about that. That mix it. But what do you guys think on that one? Venture capitalist Mark Anderson, in Trump's first week in office, totally resent my exception of what's possible in two wholly different dimensions. The headline on law professors and instant pundit bloggers, Glenn Reynolds' recent New York Post op-ed declared that Trump unprecedented and swift action. He resets the national mood. Now, this is interesting because it totally has reset. I mean, I can just tell you that it hasn't been this crazy in the news cycle. It's been a while. I don't think in the first presidency, and we know that we were eating good in the first presidency of Trump, we were like, man, things are happening. Then it started getting crazy, and there was a lot of hate and stuff. But it does, you kind of feel the shift. It's just it's palpable. I would say so. I mean, you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think. Shane Davis, co-founder and chief executive of the Federalist, tweeted Tuesday that Trump has done more to save this country in the last week than every elected Republican before him combined did over the last 30 years, and a far greater personal cost to himself and to his family. And I fully agree on that one. Right in the Blaze Media, Christopher Belfort argued that Trump's remaking of the federal government isn't just softening the palate, it's full-blown color revolution in how the federal government operates. And if it's successful, it will change everything. Now that I think is Trump's plan, because I think he's taking it to the mattress. He's going for the juggler. Whatever you guys would think that is the appropriate colloquialism for him, because he's just on fire. Having learned from his first term, when bureaucracy lifters would just ignore his instructions, Trump has also suspended as many senior officials within the agency for international development. And you guys saw that people were like denied access already to several areas and stuff like that. He just wants to make sure people are not sabotaging now, right? He's learned definitely from his first term. The Agency of International Development identified several actions within the USAID that appear to be designed to circumvent the president executive orders and the mandate from the American people. Now, check that out. So they identified actions within that aid, right, that appear to be designated to circumvent the president executive order, meaning it goes against completely everything that he's doing. We're paying for that, by the way. You and me, when we go everywhere and pay everything, and then just, you look at a bill and you're looking at all those dollars that are being taken out of our pocket. This is for this kind of garbage against the stuff that we voted for. Roughly 60 out of the workforce of more than 3 million is almost hardly worth mentioning, but a clear message has been sent and boosted by Trump's offer to buy out federal employees whom would leave their jobs by February 6th. The Associated Press called an unprecedented move to shrink the U.S. government at breakneck speed. Every believer in the virtues of liberal government and every apostle to expand liberty should rejoice, as it turns out the right people were in panic over Trump's effort to restore sanity to Washington. The politicians who crave power and obtain and hold it by using the federal fisc and power of legislation to buy votes, the vandals of the administrative states that has become the fourth, the most powerful and vindictive branch of the government, and is, in the word of our friend Stephen Hayward, a partisan instrument of the Democratic Party, and I would say the Republican Party. I'm sorry. I ever since we came to the United States and I was able to vote, I was a Republican, because to me, I felt like, hey, this side is more of what, all my morals and stance on it. It's not a perfect party, and rhinos basically took over the party for a long time. But I would say it is also a partisan instrument of the Republican Party. I'm calling my own side out on that one. Rather than the professional class of neutral civil servant, it was intended to be. Now, I know this for a fact. The majority of federal employees are Democrat. I'm sorry, that's the fact. The media fabulous were also partisan instrument of the Democrats, and like the party, they serve and protect, unable to conceive of life with limits on government. They don't want to, be cut off from the hose of, money. Our founders did not intend over their countrymen to live under the boot, nor be dependent upon the federal government. Of course, this is what Washington establishment, primarily under control of Democrats, wants. Now we have a president who not only sees it the other way, he's making long overdue charges. Now, this is a great editorial. I really enjoy it, because it's right. I think it did send kind of like a shiver down spines, the shiver me timbers of craziness that is happening in Washington. And it's just like nuts. It's been going really all over the place, and I think the right people are upset, and so they should be, because a lot of stuff is happening that it's just been kind of crazy, I think that a lot of the stuff that's happening, and it's just like a breath of fresh air, it just is really, I'm really happy for it. And it's I really enjoy that we finally getting a government. I hope I'm not saying it but a government that's able to hopefully help us not be not be not be kind of crazy, you know. It's just I really hope that we finally get um, something workable, right? That's all kind of I'm hoping for. I'm not. It's funny because somebody did say the best thing that the government could do was shut down, basically, because that it does so many things badly, right? So, but hopefully changes is coming. What do you guys think? Let me know what's up. Hey, Lady Jen, did you watch Brett Cooper's new upload? No, I haven't. I've been watching all, and we're gonna cover all the. All the stuff that's happening right now with the confirmation hearings, and it's just been crazy, you know. But I did see, like, if you guys don't know, Brett Cooper is a social media personality, podcaster, talk show host that used to work for the Daily Wire. And it was a little bit of an interesting thing that was happening with her, because I think, Lady Jen, correct me, I think you have been following it probably more than me. So if you guys don't know, it's been a little bit crazy. I don't know if she covers this in her latest upload, Lady Jen, and I don't even know if I don't think she would copyright it, but just to be on the safe side. I know that if you guys have been following this whole Brett Cooper thing, she's a nice lady. It's not necessarily my cup of tea type of content and stuff, but I've watched her a few times. I know a lot of lady friends of mine from the family. They do like her, and she has a program called The Comment Section. She used to have a program called The Comment Section. Correct me, Lady Jane, if I'm wrong. And she was on Daily Wire. She left Daily Wire. And then it was a lot of funny business because before she had left, because she was getting married, I guess, and they replaced her with a producer or something that was covering for her. Like, it was nobody's supposed to notice. And it didn't go well for that, because she is the actual show. Imagine Neurotic without Neurotic. Imagine all these shows that people know for the host. There's no Piers Morgan show without Piers Morgan, right? That's kind of this. But I guess she lost access to her personal TikTok, which I mean, I think she had millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers at least. She lost access to her TikTok, and I think she lost access to her Facebook. Now she has all kinds of stuff on Facebook, and I think people were saying this is part of her contract with Daily Wire that she lost and stuff. But as Jay Drunk Creeper said, you just wanted to erase her from like social media. But she is my understanding is that she's back with a vengeance. I think her first video got like millions of views or something, Lady Jen. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. So right now, I guess she was live today, and so her new, if you guys don't know her, she has a new YouTube channel, and it went like from 0 to 5,000 in no time flat, right? It just skyrocketed, and as you can see, this is a show today. This is not her Daily Wire show. This is her basically this is her channel today, and she just basically started, and it's just off the hook. I mean, so this is I think so. Just so you guys know, she just started this channel, and as you can see, she was already um, in the like 800 or something. This is like 11 hours ago. She had almost 40,000 viewers on her chat, which is insane. And her rival, or usurper, as we could call it, maybe. But she is right now sitting pretty at, I mean, man, this is just the trailer for the show. She's already got 1 million subscribers, like 2 million. It's like she is like rocking it. And this is, I guess this was her new show, and she already has over 1 million plays, I guess. How crazy is that? It's just, I mean, she's just rocking it. I'm sorry, homegirl. I mean, God bless you, sister. You know, she's rocking it on this. That's just insane. She is, I mean, she's coming out with wings on and stuff, but she was also on Fox News recently, and I thought that was interesting. But let's see what she had to say.
Joins us now. Were you at that party?
I was not actually, and I regret not going now. I feel like I really missed out.
It
on
looked
this
like a
huge
good
cultural
party.
phenomenon.
I think they're talking about the party, I guess, the New Yorker. I don't know if you guys saw that. Check it out. I think a lot of people were coming in on social media where it was like a Trump party, and they cut out all the black Trump supporters because, of course, the New Yorker, of course you would.
Why do you think they want to make a scene out of that?
Well, because it is cool. It's super exciting. And for the first time in like 10 years, the culture has shifted in a way to where young people on the right now are edgy. They're the rebels. And we've been saying that, you know, for the last 4 years. Like, you think you're the resistance, but actually you have every mainstream organization behind you. You have every huge, you know, Hollywood industry behind you. You're not actually a rebel. You're just falling in line with the mob and doing what they say. Like, we're actually the ones that are pushing back and fighting. And I think they finally realized that.
So what
it's
does
really
it say if you're considered edgy, that you like the country, you like sports, you get dressed up, you have a few drinks,
Yep.
you're normal, you like girls?
I mean, it makes me think of the American Revolution. I mean, we think about those guys and they were pretty normal, and they were, you know, wanting freedom, and they were wanting the life that we have built now in this country.
And they were pretty young.
They were very young, which I think people often forget. These were, you know, 17 to 22-year-old men who were hungry and huge dreamers. And I feel like we're getting back to that actually in a very cool way.
What does it mean for the culture that Jim Acosta is stepping down?
I had to look up who Jim Acosta is. So
No.
I literally did. So I think that tells you where Gen Z's priorities are right now. I was like, who is this guy? Why
no
do I
one
care?
your age watches Jim Acosta.
No.
That's awesome. She's such a vibrant girl. And just so you guys know, this was her replacement. And you know, no shade to the lady. I'm sure she's great. But
Guys, today we are talking about a huge win or a huge loss for men everywhere, depending on how you look at it, because Selena Gomez is officially engaged.
What am I watching, bro? This chick thinks why is she talking like Brett Cooper too? Why is this chick talking like Brett Cooper? You're not Brett Cooper.
yeah, and that was part of the weird thing, because it was literally, she was talking just like her. It was so weird. I'm sorry. It was really, you know, when they say like weird, you know, it was that weird thing when you're
Weird.
it was just weird, because I was like, they got somebody to kind of look like her, and then she started talking like her, and I'm sorry, it was unusual. And thanks for bringing it up, Lady Jen, because I didn't have it to talk about, but it's insane that she rocked it. I mean, that is so awesome. I'm so happy for her. I mean, she's rocking it. 1,000,000
Welcome
subscribers.
to the Brett Cooper Show. I am so happy that you guys found me over here on this new channel. I am so excited to start this new chapter with you guys. We have been hard at work behind the scenes, literally boots on the ground, me and my 80-year-old neighborhood grandpa putting shiplap up on the ceilings to cover up my 90s popcorn ceilings that I thought you guys would not find aesthetically pleasing on a set.
Oh my gosh, can I just say, my wife hates popcorn ceiling too, so she's already, but I think it's awesome that she was able to rock and get so much love. Congrats to her, they just used to is correct. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's just, it's almost cool because you're kind of going, hey, hooray for her. I think Candace Owens was talking about it too, because she was also when she left, a lot of her social media kind of went with her, and they had to rebuild. But I mean, they were both kind of landing on their feet and able to, as you can see, you can do anything you want, guys. This is the American dream. What does everybody want? American dream. Look at that. Brett Cooper able to just jump back on her feet and crushing it. I mean, just crushing it. It's so cool. I mean, very cool. It's so cool to see it. I think it's just kind of cool. But somebody did share this one, so I guess they're showing that. I guess the comment section was Brett Cooper's original show. As you can see, everything was kind of redone. It's the weirdest thing. So it's you guys can see it. She grew this channel to almost 4 million subscribers, which is insane, right? But from people are saying, the videos are not getting hardly any views. They were in the hundreds of thousands. And if you guys can see it, if you can see it right, 34,000. And I mean, smaller channel like us, it's like, yeah, you get four people watching stuff. You're like, woohoo! But 34,000. This is a scripted, heavily produced show. People, they have editors, they have lighting guys, makeup, and all that kind of stuff. This is not good for them. That's not good views for them. I mean, 700,000 was already like back in the thing as of right now. She's over 1 million views on this one, I think. And it's just, she's at 310,000 likes, bro. We just gave it a like because I think it's awesome for her to do this. But man, yeah, that's a big jump from 90,000. So Daily Warriors, you guys, do I have like the Pretty Woman meme or something where you guys, a big mistake, huge, yeah. Well, hopefully my wife's not listening. She makes me watch Pretty Woman again because that movie is depressing to me. But yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome. I think that it's I'm really happy to see how well she's doing. It's really, really cool. I really are happy for her. It's she's working for it. I know we were seeing this tragedy. I put up a short the other day. So I guess we're already getting more information. But these are some of the people who perished. I want to take the time to pray for their immortal souls. And just do a quick Hail Mary, full of grace. Lord be with you. Blessed thou among women, blessed is the fruit of the womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of death. man. We pray for their immortal souls, and may God grant them eternal rest. So I guess this is Professor Kia Duggins. Beautiful lady, was among those lost in the mid-airplane collision. She was a professor. She's began at Howard University. It's a historic Black university that President Trump gave full funding to, because Democrats wouldn't. And these kids, I guess, were also in it. And I won't be in it for long, because I know that this is kind of hard stuff to watch. But I guess Angela Yang and Sing K were among the victims of the horrific DC plane crash. And God rest their souls too. And this stuff with the plane crash seems to be a little bit crazy. I know that President Trump was talking about, because I guess the diversity push was including people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. As somebody who has, some resemble of certain disabilities, I would like to say that not everybody who's damaged, in this way, are basically bad. But I wasn't sure. Sorry, guys. So this is what they were talking about. A lot of the diversity push that they were talking about, that people had disabilities. Now I know that not all disabilities are, the severe psychiatric and all that stuff. So I guess some of the disabilities were the people that we're talking about that were, I think, either piloting the plane or helicopter or dealing with the traffic. They're coming to light to talk about this kind of things, that a lot of these disabilities that the federal government was looking for, and they're just kind of crazy, because they said they include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, dwarfism. Like, some of the stuff you're like, okay, I understand, but I don't know if you're able to, safely pilot or take care of air traffic if you have severe epilepsy. It might not be the best job for you. And it's just, and I was sharing this. These are the two kids that perished in the tragedy. And this is the young lady that professor in Howard, and God rest her soul. Among, I believe it's 60. I guess this is what they're talking about. So they're saying some of the accident that was caused by some people that is the push to have people with disabilities, join this air traffic control flights and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, and at one point you're kind of saying to yourself, it might be a bridge too far, right? They might be pushing things that are not the best look. So I think, they're a lot of the stuff, when it gets political like this, you're kind of going to yourself, is it really the time and place? But they're going to talk about them, right? So I guess this is Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, and he was given president was given a press conference.
Mr. President, and I would just note the president's leadership has been remarkable during this crisis. We have had a whole of government response, local, state, federal, and when you see that kind of cooperation, it begins with the leadership in this body. So thank you for that, Mr. President. You make our jobs a lot easier. You made an important point that when we deal with safety, we can only accept the best and the brightest in positions of safety that impact the lives of our loved ones, our family members. And I think you make a really important point on that, Mr. President. That is the motto of your presidency, the best and the brightest. the most intelligent coming into these spaces. I want to take a moment and extend my condolences to the families of the loved ones. We commit to them that we are going to get to the bottom of this investigation, not in 3 years, not in 4 years, but as quickly as possible with the NTSB, who is here today, as well as the FAA. What happened yesterday shouldn't have happened. It should not have happened. And when Americans take off in airplanes, they should expect to land at their destination. That didn't happen yesterday. That's unacceptable. And so we will not accept excuses. We will not accept passing the buck. We are going to take responsibility at the Department of Transportation and the FAA to make sure we have the reforms that have been dictated by President Trump in place to make sure that these mistakes do not happen again. And again, I want to thank you for your leadership, Mr. President, and I appreciate the confidence you placed in me.
I mean, let's keep praying for Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. I think he's a fellow Catholic. He just got appointed and is already having a hard time. Whew, man, it must be heartbreaking. We pray for all the souls and definitely those who lost their lives and the families that are grieving right now. It's a horrible time, but I think the Blaze was talking about this because they do have an original series coming out talking about this stuff. So this has been happening for a while. I mean, you can see they've got a series already in place talking about this, and you kind of hear little things here and there. But I guess over the past 4 years, the FAA has been plagued by outdated technology, shift towards DEI hiring practices, and the results have been disastrous, according to their clip. And it's interesting to see because you do have this shift, right? Where we wanted to see, we wanted more inclusion and all that stuff. It ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's great. Everybody should be able to get a seat at the table if you're able to sit at the table. You know, if you're able to do the work, nothing should stop you if you're able and willing to do the work and put in the work. That's my take on it. But if you shift to going with I'm gonna bypass people that are qualified just because of how they look, I mean, I wouldn't want to get a job where basically I know I got it because they think I'm less than. How do you think I'm going to be treated by the people in that job if they know, here comes the DEI hire? And I know people will be saying yeah, that's how they treat us anyway. But I don't know, the way that I grew up and around my families, my cousins, and everybody of my kin, we always have that idea that we have to do extra. I don't know if you guys heard it, but they call us minorities and all this kind of things. And we have this idea as, legal immigrants, as minorities, whatever you want to call it. When we come into a place and we have to work a little bit harder, we have to be a little bit more professional, and we have to behave with the utmost respect and responsibility because we will be judged by our kin, we're not going to be, if we act all world star about it, then, it's not going to help my young cousins, kids coming up and then wanting to get jobs because they're like, hey, they look like me, right? So they're going to be judged. So this is interesting that they have this coming out. So we're going to check out a little bit of it.
Southwest 2937, stop. Another close call as a FedEx 767 comes within 100 feet of a Southwest Airlines flight in Austin. In San Diego. At JFK Airport in New York.
They call them near misses.
Southwest Port.
They're near collisions.
I mean, that's basically, people saying they were so close to each other.
We're traveling thousands of miles across the country to figure out what's happening with air traffic control.
It's the ultimate mind game. All these airplanes moving in different places.
We are sitting here claiming to be the best. It's just so bizarrely untrue.
I've read that they still utilize floppy disks.
That's
How could this
crazy.
be in the 21st century? And what is the answer to that, Bob? This is insanity.
Half of the controllers in the country are working 6-day weeks, 10-hour days.
We stopped. We were cleared to cross runway 4.
The Obama administration put in place this new set of hiring standards for air traffic controllers.
The FAA decided that it was producing too many white men to become air traffic controllers. They
That's
decided
just
to change the
crazy.
hiring process and introduce a new first step, which was called the biographical questionnaire. And it was designed to alter the racial makeup of the potential hiring pool.
So you take the technical test, you get 100%. Then you take the biographical test. How do you do on that?
So I ended up failing.
You shouldn't have anybody fail anything. That's I don't. This is crazy.
Andrew was a victim
My wife wonders why I don't like to fly. Right?
of bigotry.
I mean, how is this legal?
It's not.
The warning signs are there, and we all wonder, is anybody listening?
I mean, this is kind of fascinating and tragic at the same time. President Trump had talked about it, and they have to do something about this. This is kind of crazy.
Today blamed the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. We then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistake.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level. When you have 60 planes coming in during a short period of time, and they're all coming in different directions, and you're dealing with very high-level computer work and very complex computers. And one of the other things I will tell you is that the systems that were built, I was going to rebuild the entire system, and then we had an election that didn't turn out the way it should have. But
Today,
I mean, we do have a floppy disk. I mean, you heard it in the thing. Some of these airports are literally running on floppy disk. That's just crazy. I mean, come on, man. It's just crazy. There was a lot of political and a lot of stuff. I know that the former secretary of transportation weighed in on it. It's one of those political takes. There's always going to be that.
before I got to office, recently, second term, the FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out.
And that was what we were talking about. I mean, and it's insane because you want the best people for it. Yes, if you're disabled and you're able to do the job, no worries. If you're intellectually disabled, chess game in the sky.
On the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, I mean, actually, their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened because of the stress, where you have many, many planes coming into one target, and you need a very special talent and a very special genius to be able to do it. Targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. The FAA's website states they include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism all qualify for the position of a controller of airplanes pouring into our country, pouring into a little spot, a little
That's just crazy. I'm sorry. It's kind of nuts.
dot on the map, little runway. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan. Think of that. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan, which says diversity is integral to achieving FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel. I don't think so. I think it's just the opposite. The FAA website shows that the agency's guidance on diversity hiring were last updated on March 23rd of 22. They wanted to make it even more so. And then I came in, and I assume maybe this is the reason. The FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit.
Man.
The Department of Transportation is government agency charged with regulating civil aviation. Well, he runs it, 45,000 people, and he's run it right into the ground with his diversity.
It's just crazy. We pray for all of them. This was the skating team that was in the thing. These are young kids, it's just so sad. It's completely sad. A tragedy that shouldn't happen. And please continue to pray for the families and the souls of the recently departed. I agree, bro. Spicy, man. It's kind of rough. It is kind of rough, but we had a whole lot of stuff that's happening today. It's talk about spicy. It's just been crazy. I had this. Talk about nutso. So the other day we had Kennedy's confirmation hearing, and there was all kinds of stuff that was happening with that. But this is coming from Breitbart, and let's see what they say on the Fox and News. So, unless we get an ad,
through this, we'll probably have some who agree and some who don't. Alex Marlow, editor-in-chief of Breitbart News, co-author of Breitbart Business Digest, host of the Alex Marlow Show. We got Byron York, chief political correspondent at the Washington Examiner and a Fox News contributor, and Ben Domenech, editor-at-large at The Spectator and also a Fox contributor. Thanks to all of you. Alex, I'm going to begin with you. By the way, Breitbart has a spiffy front row seat in the White House press room now, by the way. I know that's not what we're here to discuss, but I think it's pretty cool. Got a thought on that?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It was an amazing day for us, and it was nice to get that acknowledgement from the press secretary. And it's just the old media guard is crumbling, and we're thriving in new media, and it's a great moment. And the next 20 years are going to be so sweet because we're finally going to get some balance against the establishment press and favoring folks like us, and frankly, everyone on the panel today.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys know about this. Let me know in the chat that there has been some changes where if you are a YouTuber, social media influencer, whatever it is that you report on the news, and you're able to get to Washington, and obviously you pass credentials, right? You are able to apply for a White House press pass. This is game changer. I think a lot of people are noticing that big media is not the only way, and citizen reporting has become, and even like small time reporting, it's huge.
Yeah, everybody on the panel today. So what do you think of the RFK story, Alex? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah, I love it. I think he's really sort of a subtle genius, and the way he presented himself today is fantastic. And I'll tell you, I come from a family that practices Western medicine. My wife's a medical doctor. I'm sure I've mentioned that on the show before. And we couldn't be more excited about this pick because he's a threat to the bureaucratic establishment. We make a lot of fundamental mistakes in this country when it comes to our health, and we just keep doing the same stuff over and over again. We're over-medicated, we're overweight, we're obese. We don't talk about the right stuff. And the way that people were yelling at him today, Elizabeth Warren in particular,
Oh
Bernie
my
Sanders
gosh.
was yelling him about some sort of a onesie that toddlers can buy on a website.
That was crazy. I mean, the memes alone on the Elizabeth Warren and his like onesie comment, that was just insane. I mean, you got to be, it was so crazy. They had a absolute breakdown. I just gotta say, the picks that Trump has picked for this administration they've been on fire. I'm sorry, they've been on fire because they haven't been swayed. They haven't been how should we say it? They haven't been intimidated by all the hate and all the vitriol. I would say vitriol coming their way, right? Because it has been rough. They were on them, like everything is like, if you guys saw that that onesie remark, it's, of course, I think I had it, but we will be here all day if we just do all the clips on it. But it was insane.
For a company he used to be a part of. It's so farcical. They want us to keep doing the same things that have made us so unhealthy for so long, and it's time for a change.
Ben Domenech, you in the same camp as Alex Marlow?
Well, I think I'm probably not as big of a fan as Alex is, but I will say that I think we've tried a couple of different ways to approach reform within the context of health policy. And the previous attempts have just not worked out for Republicans. Whenever they've had the opportunity to try to push for reforms, they've had very much difficulty in getting them across the finish line. I was at HHS as a political appointee under George W.
And that's the truth. Every time we get into kind of these areas, the Republicans have not been like on the forefront of anything medical, which is it's kind of interesting because I know a lot of Republicans that are super health nuts. And it just doesn't seem that those are the guys that get in, right? You have all these people that are just wishy-washy with the stuff. We just need people to go in there and say, hey, what the heck are we eating? Why are you not letting the farmers, farm? It's just insane. And I hope we can get something done.
When Medicare Part D was being advanced, and I saw firsthand how difficult this can be in terms of all the different people who have their hands in the till. And then when it comes, I think, to the overall issue of understanding America's health crisis, I think RFK is a much better messenger on that than what we've seen in the past. And I would remind you, Larry, I'm sure you know this, that the previous administration's nominee for this same job, who passed very narrowly, the narrowest of any of the votes for any of his members of the cabinet, was someone who had zero experience in health policy, a total political hack in Javier Becerra. So, I mean, it's not the kind of situation where I think Democrats can really criticize this choice, given the fact that he's going to be implementing, as you said, Donald Trump's policy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Byron, I want to come back to that. Thank you, Ben, for mentioning that. Because, look, at the end of the day, RFK may be the new Secretary of Health and Human Services. That's great. But the fact is, the real Secretary of HHS is President Trump. And by the way, related to that, and I can assure you of this, having worked inside the White House on several occasions in my time, there's a lot of White House advisors who will be weighing in on what HHS should do. But basically, it's Mr. Trump who makes the policy, not Robert Kennedy. Mr. Trump is not opposed to vaccinations. Mr. Trump is a pro-life president. Mr. Trump wants to downsize Medicaid, and I guarantee other things. And he's got some other advisors like Marty McCary who are going to help do all this stuff. So people can, I know Democrats can scream bloody murder. I mean, the Democrats' head spinning. I'm going to get to that later. That's all they can do under this Trump assault of executive orders and new nominations. But the fact is, it's Trump policies. And what did RFK do today, Byron? he pledged that he would follow Mr. Trump's policies. He was very explicit.
And that's true, but it was an onslaught. I mean, it was just insane. People, the memes on this are just crazy. I don't know if you guys saw this.
You pro vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for 26 bucks, which has fundamental doubt on the usefulness. Say you are pro vaccine.
It's just crazy. They were going insane. The vitriol, but it's kind of like expected, right? This is what we expect. But he didn't back away. He didn't shy away from any of this. And I think it's so great because we did have something that said, hey, this is not how I'm going to conduct myself. But the Bernie Sanders kind of like in between of this stuff. It's just, I mean, it was just kind of nuts,
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now. Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question. And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry. And protecting their interests. I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
That's how we get them. That's how we get them, right? No. I knew you were going to ask that. Oh, really? Really? Oh, okay. Let's see, Mr. Sanders. So, according to this report, the hostility that Robert Kennedy Jr. experienced the hearing was directly proportional to how much pharma money each senator received. In fact, each of them simply repeated the same attacks, which just soft-flood the mass media, all of which are blatant lies. And if you guys saw that, I did a short on it. Go check it out. In the shorts category in our news section, where reporters were already having their headlines, negative headlines about Mr. Kennedy out there. But if you look at this, it's a whole lot of money from all these people who want to do high horses on this one, and it's pretty plain to see that there's some money attached to a lot of this all those people that are kind of barking the loudest, right? They're barking the loudest, and they're being really pushy on all this little problems that we have here, because let's not focus on all the money that is happening. Let's instead talk about onesies.
Originator. Right now, as I understand it, on their website, they are selling what's called onesies. These are little things,
onesie
clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unfaxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Next one is no vax, no problem. Now you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market? Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board. Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this? I've had nothing to do with leadership. Are you supportive of these onesies? I'm supportive of vaccines. Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
As the boys of the onesies, Did you support the onesies? If you didn't support the onesies, you know, see, but people don't understand. This is what's happening. This is the disorder increase. All right. This is the increase that we've had since 1990. All right. Look at everything that is happening. It's just insane. Just the autoimmune disorders, bipolar, chronic fatigue. I mean, this is like lupus. What the heck with lupus, man? I mean, a lot of things, other things are coming back. It's just insane. We got to get this stuff in check. And you go to the grocery store and you pick something up. And the other day, it's funny because I was looking at some cheese, and my wife's like, "You got to get organic cheese." But yeah, I'm like, I'm so cheap. And then I go and look at the cheese, and I'm like, "Oh, this looks good. This is good." It says it's from a farm or something like that. And then you're kind of thinking to yourself, "Okay, wait a minute. No, read it." And I'm like, "What? It could be this, just milk." And you go, and it's true. It literally has like a ton of different ingredients that I have no clue. And then when you look at the organic cheese, that's just got, milk and, enzymes and, salt. You're like going, okay. All right. I got to give it that one. But, these people are bought and paid for. You know what I mean?
So let's do a quick count here of how, as Secretary of HHS, if you get confirmed, you could influence every one of those lawsuits. Well, let me start the list. You could publish your anti-vaccine conspiracies, but this time on U.S. government letterhead, something a jury might be impressed by. You could appoint
I
people
don't
to the
understand that.
CDC vaccine panel who share your anti-vax views and let them do your dirty work. You could tell the CDC vaccine panel to remove a particular vaccine.
See, and you hear, this is not a question. Where's the question? Right? Where's the question, Pocahontas? And come on, man. It's your...
From the vaccine schedule. You could remove vaccines from special compensation programs, which would open up manufacturers to mass torts. You could make more injuries eligible for compensation, even if there is no causal evidence. You could change vaccine court processes to make it easier to bring junk lawsuits. You could turn over FDA data to your friends at the law firm, and they could use it however it benefited them. You could change vaccine labeling. You could change vaccine information rules. You could change which claims are compensated in the vaccine injury compensation program. There's a lot of ways that you can influence those future lawsuits and pending lawsuits while you are Secretary of HHS. And I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits, so that what you do as Secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
Like nothing of,
That's not the question. You and I, you have said.
Like she doesn't, I mean, we just saw the list. We just saw the list how much she's profiting. And then she's on the high horse, like, oh, it's like, yeah, come on, man. It's just ridiculous. What the heck? What the heck are you even doing? You're just making a charade. Oh, my wife sent me this joke or something, and it said something about what was it? I think it was a white Cherokee or something, and I thought it was hilarious. Of course, I can't remember it now, right? Oh, but it's just the vitriol of these people are just crazy.
His argument is to continue to make money off his anti-vax position. Look, he says he won't go to work for drug companies because the American people have a right to know that the decisions.
But you work for the drug companies. You show that you think you work for the state, for the people.
Made while he is Secretary of HHS are only for the good of the American people. And yet he wants to keep a piece of the action on every one of these anti-vax lawsuits. And what that means potentially is as Secretary of HHS. He can make those lawsuits a whole lot more profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine manufacturers, and then nobody gets vaccine.
Wow.
That is the problem. He has said he will protect his right to make money off the position of Secretary of HHS. That means that every decision he makes could be for the American people or could be just to benefit RFK Jr.
Are you serious? I mean, this, whenever she's going to come with something like this is the person that you thought would be good for the nation, ma'am. This is the person who you thought was somebody who's capable of looking out for the well-being of the American people and their health. Maybe you shouldn't maybe you shouldn't be throwing stones there, because how much were you getting? That's a whole lot of money. That's a lot of money. I mean, are you willing to give up the money that you're getting, ma'am? Are you willing to give up the money that's coming your way? Is that what you're doing? If you're doing that, I have no problem. Hey, if she says I give up all this money that I'm getting from the special interests, then I think that maybe hey, there's something legit there, right? So I maybe it is, right? Maybe you're doing something. But if you are not willing to maybe you yourself be a little bit transparent, then I don't know. I don't know if we should kind of listen to you on that one, right? That's just me. Maybe I'm the wrong here. Maybe I'm in the wrong here. So I don't know, and I agree. She's in the chat. Say we got a shrill, dishonest message. Say what you want, but Kennedy seems sincere. He doesn't need to grift for the government, and he doesn't. I mean, the people that he got is not the people that kind of need money or want to shill. In a sense, they just want to. I do believe that they sincerely want to do the work. I could be wrong. They could be gaslighting us all the way. You like that? I learned that from my wife. The gaslighting. Yeah, you gaslighting me. So it could be, but I hope that they're good people. And Mr. Kennedy seems like he's up there. But there was other confirmations today. Mr. Patel was in the House, and we have a little bit of his praise today, because here we have Senator Mike Lee said that Kash Patel aced his hearing, and I watched part of it. I was on and off as I was driving and running around doing my honeydew list. And it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool.
Patel knocked it out of the park. I've been in the Senate for 14 years, on the Judiciary Committee the entire time. I don't think I've ever seen a nominee facing so many headwinds perform so masterfully, handle himself so flawlessly as Kash Patel did today. Look, they threw everything at him they had, and every single time he proved up to the task. Here's the thing, Laura. There's so much pearl clutching going on here. These are the same people who looked the other way for the last 4 years as a campaign of politically motivated lawfare has been underway, wreaking havoc on the American constitutional form of government. Not a peep out of them, not a worry in the world about the political weaponization of the FBI. Now you've got somebody coming in promising to clean it up, right? And they hate him for it. They're irate about the fact that somebody's going to be doing that. They're the ones now panicked about lawfare when Kash Patel all along has said it's wrong. He's not going to engage in it. And they don't want to take yes for an answer. Kash Patel knocked it out of the park. I've been in the Senate for 14 years.
And there you go. You got somebody who's willing to, say, even when he was asked square blank, hey, are you just going to do what the president says? Say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to follow the Constitution. I mean, how about that? But do we like that? Do we think that's good? I think it's good. You know, I mean, it was just crazy. I believe it was like 6 hours long. He was just grill. You know, it's just crazy. So it was just a little bit insane. We have this is Senator Mike Lee, and he had some really good words to say about him. And
Senator for 14 years. I've been on this committee the entire time. You were the very first FBI director or FBI director nominee who, when I've asked about this, hasn't said, oh, don't worry about it. We'll handle it okay. We've got good people on the inside. We would never breach the trust of the American people. Do you know what? They were lying. Let's talk about the Fourth Amendment for a moment. The Fourth Amendment tells us that in order for the government to breach your expectation of privacy relative to your person, your home, your papers, if they want to search that, if they want to seize you, they've got to get a warrant. And that warrant has to describe with particularity the persons or places to be searched or to be seized, and to connect them up with a showing of probable cause. Now, in the case of FISA 702, we're dealing with a somewhat different universe. Now, moments ago, we heard some discussion about FISA 702, about suddenly we've got a different FISA 702 than what we had when President Trump was last in office. Is that true? Because by my count, FISA 702 has not changed substantively since President Trump was in office last.
That's correct.
Okay. And there was also some back and forth discussion about FISA 702 and the use of it, and the fact that in real time, it might not work to get a warrant. This, in my view, misses the point. The concern that the American people have with FISA 702 is not about the real-time collection of communications regarding foreign targets. The concern is that once those communications are stored, you have within them what are referred to as incidentally collected communications of Americans, text messages, emails, recorded phone calls, and so forth. If they want to go in and search for someone, let's say you, if someone wants to go into one of those databases after they've been collected, let's see if you're unwittingly communicating with somebody who, unbeknownst to you, happens to be an agent of a foreign power or otherwise.
now listen to this. This is crazy, you know, because we did hear a lot of the stuff that's happening to us.
Under surveillance under FISA 702. If they wanted to search for you, they wanted to enter your name, your phone number, your email address, or some other personal electronic identifier, would they have to get a warrant to do that under current law?
Under current law, I believe so, Senator.
Under current law, they routinely access that without getting a warrant. In order to access it, they've got...
You just hear that, right? So they have to get a warrant if they got to get information, if you're somehow, you know, involved in a conversation, because they have to be specific under the law. But come to find out, they weren't doing that. And hey, coming from people like, if you are Catholic like us and you basically attended Latin Mass, the Biden DOJ put you on a watch list, right? So they were listening to everything. We were joking around with our family about, hey, FBI, you know, because, you know for a fact they're listening to you. But it's insane.
They run internal procedures. They're not supposed to use this for light or transient reasons. They're supposed to have a perfectly good reason. And yet we found that on hundreds of thousands of occasions, they have accessed the private communications of Americans, searching for those individual Americans by name, by number, by email address, whatever it is, without a warrant or anything tantamount to it. On occasion, they've even been used for overtly nefarious reasons. One agent deciding to look in on his father because he suspected his father might be having an extramarital affair. On another occasion, an agent looked at people who were thinking about renting an apartment from him to make sure they were upstanding citizens and could be trusted. Are these appropriate uses of FISA 702?
As you alluded to, the FISA court, it's not me deciding it. The FISA court put out a report in 22 or 23 where 255,000 illegal improper queries of American citizens had occurred.
That's insane. When you think the government's not overreaching, listen to that.
255,000 reasons why the American people don't trust it. And that's what we must work together, Congress and me, if I'm confirmed as FBI director, restore that trust and protect the mission.
Music to my ears, because I've been a U.S. Senator for 14 years. I've been on this committee the entire time. You were the very first FBI director or FBI director nominee who, when I've asked about this, hasn't said, oh, don't worry about it. We'll handle it okay. We've got good people on the inside. We would never breach the trust of the American people. Do you know what? They were lying. I was willing to believe that they thought they were telling the truth, but they were mistaken. But they were lying. Time has told us that they were lying. You will not lie. And that's why I wholeheartedly support you. I've been a U.S.
Now, and you know this is cool, but if you listen to Ursula, I agree with her. Some of these lowball questions don't help, but I don't know. This one, I felt this one. I was like, what? And the funny thing is, I was driving as I was listening to this, and I was thinking to myself, what? Are you serious? Man, you don't dislike the government enough. But there was more smackdowns.
He is asking to be head of the FBI, and he said that their headquarters should be shut down.
Mr. Chair, parliamentary inquiry. You got anything you want to say, Mr. Patel, before I go on to Senator Lee?
Simply this. If the best attacks on me are going to be false accusations and grotesque mischaracterizations, the only thing this body is doing is defeating the credibility of the men and women at the FBI. I stood with them here in this country. In every theater of war we have, I was on the ground in service of this nation. And any accusations leveled against me that I would somehow put political bias before the Constitution are grotesquely unfair. And I will have you reminded that I have been endorsed by over 300,000 law enforcement officers to become the next director of the FBI. Let's ask them.
Mr. Chairman, I am quoting his own words from September of 2024. It is his own words. It is not some conspiracy. It is what Mr. Patel actually said himself.
Oh, so dramatic. So dramatic. But it's just, they just can't stand the winning. I'm sorry. This is just.
I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him.
You know they're worried about this one, right? You know they're worried about this one.
Build this international human trafficking, sex trafficking ring. Now, earlier I urged then Chairman Durbin to subpoena those records, and I ended up being blocked by Senator Durbin and Christopher Wray. They stonewalled on this. And I know that breaking up these trafficking rings is important to President Trump. So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past.
I mean, come on, man. That's what you want. You want somebody who's gonna come in there and go, hey, you know what? We want to get this stuff out. Let's we need to get some of those you know, I agree. President, what are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? They're obviously afraid of something, but Patel obviously was not having it. You know, he was a rock star. He was a rock star, and hopefully we're gonna get something out of it, and I'm really hoping that it's something that I'm really hoping that we get some wrongs, you know, accounted for. So we did have somebody else who was trying to get confirmed today, and that's Ms. Gabbard. Myself, I was never a huge Gabbard fan. I know a lot of folks are, even though she is a fellow surferini, and to my bras in Hawaii, I say bra. And but she handled herself and looking spiffy in the white. I gotta say, very spiffy.
People who are watching at home,
I believe this is her opening statement.
may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a decisive victory and mandate for change. The fact is, what truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet. Now, before I close, I want to warn the American people who are watching at home. You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a
It's fact. I mean, nobody wants to be a puppet. She says she's not a puppet, but that's what they're going to keep going, right? They're going to come with everything they got because they obviously have something to lose. Why do they want to release certain things? Why do they want to do certain things? I don't know. And it seems like some people are also now calling things like the Tulsi derangement syndrome. But it's something that's crazy because as soon as all the nominees wanted to answer questions, it seems like everybody was screaming, and it's such a weird ghetto, like mentality here.
Do you believe, as the chairman of this committee believes, as the vast majority of members of our intelligence agencies believe, that Edward Snowden was a traitor to the United States of America?
Senator, if confirmed
This
as
is when the
Director of
rubber hits
National
the road.
Intelligence,
This is
I
when
will
this
work
is not
with you to make sure
this
that
is
there is
not
not
a
another
moment for
Snowden-like
social
leak.
media. It's not a moment to propagate theories, conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
or attacks on journalism in the United States. This is when you need to answer the questions of the people whose votes you're asking for to be confirmed as the chief intelligence officer of this nation. As my colleague said, this is not about you. It's about the people that serve the intelligence agencies of the United States. Is Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America? That is not a hard question to answer when the stakes are this high. When the stakes,
I mean, look
and
at
the
her
stakes
face.
are
Look at her
this
face. I mean, come on, man. This is a grown. I'm sorry. My cousins in the South say this. This is a grown ass man, right? You're a grown ass man, and you are at the highest level of government, right? The people sent you there. You got to put on a suit, a little cologne, a little cufflinks, right? And get out there and represent the people. And this is what you do, bro. This is what you do to a lady, nonetheless, right?
high.
Senator, as someone who has
Look, she can't even speak. They won't even let her speak.
Your answer, yes or no, is Edward Snowden a traitor?
And this is a stupid yes or no. Like yes or no, yes or no. Are you in a court of law or something like that? What the heck is with the yes or no question and stuff? All right. This is like gotcha moments, right? This is like, when my wife asked me, did you, eat a gas station pizza or hot dog? And I'm like going, well, what do you define as a gas station? And she goes, is it a yes or no question? Did you have a gas station pizza? Well, your body later on, tells you that you did.
To the United States of America.
As someone who has
I'll go on
worn
to
our
my.
Oh my gosh. Dude, she can't even finish. She can't even finish. She can't even put a word. What kind of actual. This is not dialogue. I'm sorry. Everybody's always talking trash about the Republicans. You don't let nobody talk. You're just letting somebody talk, right? Isn't she a woman? Isn't she a minority? I mean, aren't you guys supposed to? Isn't this badgering by the dude? Isn't that what you guys supposed to be doing now? I mean, what the heck, bro?
uniform in combat. I understand how critical our national security
Apparently
is.
you don't.
I love how she puts her best voice forward, right? She's looking him straight in the eye. I'm looking you in the eye. I probably could take you out right now with just this water bottle and a bottle cap and this pen and your security detail. That's the look that she's giving, right? But she's trying to answer your question, but they won't even let him answer the question.
Apparently you don't. Let me ask you.
She didn't even answer the freaking question. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is just insane. But it didn't stop there. It didn't stop there. You can see visibly her face is just like, this is like a Zen moment right now, and I gotta close my eyes and go through myself. All right, hold up. I'm gonna get my scent in right now because this idiot's gonna ask me a stupid
I want to make certain that in no way does Russia get a pass in either your mind or your heart.
It's that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was a question. If you didn't believe that, that was a question. It's like, hey, Lady Jen, love Tulsi. They won't let her talk. We're back to it. Marsha, Russia.
Or in any policy recommendation you would make or not make.
Senator, I'm.
Can I just say that's a BS question? I mean, and that's me talking harsh right now.
Offended by the question because my sole focus, commitment, and responsibility is about our own nation, our own security, and the interests of the American people. In carrying out the responsibilities of the Director of National Intelligence, if confirmed, no country, group, or individual will get a pass. In my fulfilling that responsibility of providing that full intelligence picture so that you all can make the best informed policy decisions for the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. You have my commitment to be completely objective, unbiased, and apolitical. And I hope you understand my commitment to our country's interest.
I want to make certain that in no way does Russia get a pass in.
It's so stupid. I mean, the smear campaigns are all over. The BBC is like, Trump spy pick faces fresh scrutiny over Syria visits and Russia comments. Come on. It's hilarious. You know when the whole deflect stuff happenings, this is full deflection, right? It's full deflection. Technically, it's supposed to salute her, right? It's like, there's a manner of respect. There should be a manner of decorum, right? That should be, should be followed in this kind of situations, because you're saying to yourself, this is not somebody who's just off the street or anything like that. This is not somebody who's just the other day decided to go into politics or anything like this. She's served. She's part of the military. she ran for president, so she's fully vetted, right? So the fact that she's being treated like this is because they hate her. And why do they hate her? Because this is who she is, right? She's somebody who has fought for the country, and they don't like that. They don't like that she's speaking her mind. They don't like that she's with Trump. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that she's basically was a Democrat, right? So you would think like everybody would be for this, right? I'm sorry, right? It's like, is this kind of like a thing? I mean, shouldn't this be a thing? She's saying the right things.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colonel Gabbard, when Russia was denying us use of chemical weapons, they accused the U.S. of supporting terrorists. This is a line that Putin used frequently during the Syrian civil war as he supported Assad. Syrian officials made similar comments. They did it repeatedly. They did it in public. They did it at the United Nations. In 2016, you gave an interview in which you said, and this is a quote, "The U.S. is providing direct and indirect support to terrorist groups in order to overthrow the Syrian government." And in 2019, on the Democratic presidential debate stage, you said of President Trump, this is a quote, "This current president is continuing to betray us. We were supposed to be going after al-Qaeda, but over years now, not only have we not gone after al-Qaeda, our president is supporting al-Qaeda." So I'm interested to hear, what was your goal in saying these things? And did you consider, before saying them, the motives of Iran and Russia, what their motives might have been before making these claims?
Senator, as someone who enlisted in the military specifically because of al-Qaeda's terrorist attack on 9/11 and committing myself and my life to doing what I could to defeat these terrorists, it was shocking and a betrayal to me and every person who was killed on 9/11, their families and my brothers and sisters in uniform. When, as a member of Congress, I learned about President Obama's dual programs that he had begun really to overthrow the regime of Syria, and being willing to, through the CIA's Timber Sycamore program that has now been made public, of working with and arming and equipping al-Qaeda in an effort to overthrow that regime, starting yet another regime change war in the Middle East. DoD Train and Equip program, again, begun under President Obama, is widely been known, looked at, and studied, that ultimately resulted in over $500 million being used to train who they called moderate rebels, but were actually fighters working with and aligned with al-Qaeda's affiliate on the ground in Syria, all to move forward with their regime change and not acknowledging what was obvious at the time and what has unfortunately borne true, which was that a regime change war in Syria, much like the regime change wars in Iraq, the toppling of Gaddafi and Mubarak, while these are all dictators, would likely result in the rise of Islamist extremists like al-Qaeda taking power. I shed no tears for the fall of the Assad regime.
Yeah, this was a little bit, I know that a lot of different people or different takes on all the things that happened in Syria and all this kind of stuff. And if you have brothers and sisters in Syria, but we have a lot of Catholic and Coptic Catholics in Syria, there's a lot of take on that because the violence against us was really minimized, I think, with Assad. So there's all kinds of stuff on that, but you can't deny that all kinds of shenanigans happened between the Biden and the Obama administration, with all kinds of stuff happening in that area.
But today we have an Islamist extremist who is now in charge of Syria, as I said, who danced on the streets to celebrate the 9/11 attack, who ruled over Idlib with an Islamist extremist governance, and who has already begun to persecute and kill and arrest religious minorities like Christians in Syria.
I understand.
Why that should be acceptable to anyone is beyond me.
It shouldn't
is
be.
certainly
And I
not in our
understand, and
interests.
I appreciate your answer and thank you. My concern has to do with
Your concern is not the Christians being killed or innocents being killed. Of course not. Why would that be, right? Why would you not care about that? That's just silly talk, right?
the tendency to repeat Russian and Syrian, and even in some cases, I think we'll get into in the closed session, Iranian information, and to discount what comes from our intelligence community.
Senator, every American deserves to know that people in our own government were providing support to our sworn enemy, Al Qaeda. That should.
I mean, last time I checked, I could be wrong, but weren't the armed forces supposed to protect both enemies, both foreign and domestic, right? And she's basically saying what the oath says, both foreign and domestic. She's talking about the domestic too. Look in the face, bro. Check it out. She's telling you there's an issue. Why don't you listen to the woman who actually has some combat experience? Unlike yourself, probably. I could be wrong.
Not be acceptable by anyone.
Thank you. Unless you've been hiding.
That's right. Colloidal silver. So that's all I gotta say. But man, it's just crazy. I don't know. I cannot stress enough how watching these kind of things happen in our government just make you kind of go, maybe, I don't know, but maybe,
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something ain't right. It's they're up to something, and it just things are happening so quickly, and so many things are happening. Some friends sent me this because Nevada, we're close to Arizona, and Arizona has been going nutso. And this just in that happened that it looks like Miss Hobbs, who people have said she hasn't did not win both her nominations in office, but I guess her budget director resigned for good reason. As her polling number continues to sink and she struggles under the weight of governing Governor Katie Hobbs, took another hit this week when her chief budget advisor announced her exit on this Wednesday, folks. Sarah Brown, director of the government office, strategic planning and budgeting, advised that she would be leaving on February 12th. Working for you has been a dream, but the time has come for me to give more of myself to other parts of my life, she wrote, resignation to the government, according to Arizona Republic. Brown has been serving the budget director since late 2022. According to the Arizona Republic, Brown and Hobbs worked together for 3 years. Brown served as Hobbs' chief financial officer and director straight, but check it. Brown's resignation came just hours before news broke that $339 million has disappeared. Oops. I mean, I could be wrong. Do you think she put it in her other purse? She left it in her jeans? $339 million has disappeared from Hobbs' proposed Arizona budget. Yep, the budget just somehow mysteriously is missing $339 million. there's some votes that were missing too, Ms. Hobbs, but we won't touch on that. Well, the state still has a surplus. The missing money has lawmakers asking question. Really? That's just insane. Why would they be asking for a question? It still has money. Why would they be looking for this silly $339 million? The missing money has lawmaker asking question. $30 million disappeared from Arizona's budget and has questioned Katie Hobbs tweeted State Representative Alice Colden. So I guess this is the budget that has disappeared. And right, I mean, what are you gonna do when there's all this money missing? I mean, it's obviously not her fault, but what exactly shall we do? But this one, our friend saying that I guess it just disappeared. The budget director mysteriously resigned yesterday. Senator Colin issued a notice and that we just saw. In my shock that the legislature was informed that the state has several insolvent agencies and required a $339 million bailout to close out the current fiscal year. Since your liaison dedicated to briefing the members of the legislature failed to provide detail on how we got here, I'm putting my requests in writing. Arizonans deserve to know the detail on why you misled the legislator about the spending you intended to approve in just 2 weeks' time, and I learned the problem has worsened and that your office is now $350 million. What is going on? What's going on, Ms. Hobbs? Where did the money go? I think that it should be noted that maybe there's some issues on that. So I guess a lot of the stuff is coming from still from the unknown origin virus of unknown oranges. There's a lot of stuff that happened on that, and this is why we want people who are accountable and who basically say, hey, you know what? I think we have to do something a little bit different, and we have to do something with a little bit more integrity, because things like this is happening. Things like basically saying, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I do believe that maybe there's something wrong with this. And I think you are right. I think maybe, Ms. Hobbs, there's something that it could be done about this. I could be wrong. Maybe I don't know. But it would be nice if you would help out, just my little take on it. No shade. Just maybe it would benefit that you would find millions of dollars that are missing from your budget. I don't know. I might be chirping at windmills. I don't know. I did want to touch on something a little bit more lighthearted. So Little House on the Prairie, which was, it's an older show. I don't know if you guys watch it. If you're older and you watch the channel, you would have heard about the show. It's kind of like a family in the wilderness. It's based on a book. It's very popular. Michael Landon, who's was a Christian, and I think a lot of Christians were involved in the show. So it's having a reboot by Netflix. Yes, and if you guys know Netflix reputation for remixes, it's already gonna be like memeable. I mean, is this what we're gonna get from the Little House on the Prairie remix? I don't know. I could be wrong, but this is from Deadline. So High Pine's about to become a hooligan. Netflix has greenlit the reboot of Little House on the Prairie. The 1970s drama has enjoyed stunning resurgence on Peacock. And I wonder why that is, that we have a resurgence of these older shows. And I think what's happening is that a lot of people want to feel a little bit of this nostalgia, right? We want to get good shows. We want to get some of these good shows in. So Rebecca Sunshine, The Vampire's Archive, will be showrunner and executive producer of Netflix, and describing it as a reimagining. That's the joke, right? That's a little bit of the joke, because it's, you're just once you start reimagining things and you start saying, hey, it's for a new audience, we're going to reimagine, and that's when you get a little bit interesting. So based on the book series by Laura Ingalls Wilder, other EPs are Joy German Weddles for Joy Collision, and they've been pushing for a family reboot for years. It's long been held dream of mine to carry on my father's legacy and adapt Wilder's classic American stories from a 21st century audience. There's the rub, right? It's for 21st century audience. When it's literature and when you're doing something, maybe just stick to the original. We've seen Shakespeare done all kinds of ways, but when you kind of change a little bit too much, it just goes a little bit kind of bad, right? But she says she's changing it for audience. 21st Century Knowledge, the way that brings together fans of both the books and the original television series, said friendly in a statement. I'm thrilled by our talented creative team led by Rebecca, who are bringing these beloved stories about family, community, and survival to a longtime fans and new fans in reaction. I fell deeply in love with the books when I was 5 years old. They inspired me to become a writer and a filmmaker, and I'm honored and thrilled to be adapting these stories to a new global audience of Netflix. The new versions from CBS Studios and Anonymous Content Studios is expected to follow Charles, his wife Carolyn, and their daughters Laura and Marion. They leave Wisconsin to settle in Independence, Kentucky, where it'll be on-stage characters. And the final season is based on the book Little House on the Prairie. Friendly, whose dad Ed brought TV and movie rights to the Wilder's novel that led the NBC drama in 1974, first sold the rights for reboot in 2020 to Paramount TV Studios and Anonymous Content. Fans are eager to see Little House on the Prairie come back to the screen, and we agree that the time is right. We feel optimistic that this will happen. Took a while, but the project eventually found its way to Netflix about a year ago and was cleared for a serious pickup just before the holidays. Yeah, just I do think that they could do something with this. I think that maybe it could work if they really pay attention to what it actually is doing. But if they don't do it right, I think it's gonna be kind of crazy. Already, Megyn Kelly is out on the warpath on us saying that not to walkify Little House on the Prairie, because she's really going to take it personally, and you do have things that are happening unless things are happening. It's already Melissa Goba's already talking about it. She's like, just watch the original again. Referring to the anti-woke comment, and this kind of stuff's unfortunate when you have fans and nobody wants something to be just destroyed, right? You want them to be just more to the original. You want to be able to enjoy it and to stick to what is known, stick to what people like about it, and you don't want none of this back and forth thing. But sometimes people have to protect their hobbies, and people have to protect what they love. And if this is one of the things that you love, I think that you should try to protect it. You should try to make sure that you keep it as unwoke as possible, because it's unfortunate when you have something that you love and then it just gets trampled over, and that's not cool. I mean, was Miss Kelly a little bit too rough on it? Yeah, maybe, but she loves the thing, so hey, I don't blame her. So don't mess up Little House on the Prairie, son. You're gonna get prairified. I don't know, but if you guys can help out, our charity of the week, I put the link in the chat below, is the United Cajun Army. When I lived back in the South, these folks, fine folks, were everywhere, and they've gone from a ragtag group of gator hunters and outdoorsmen, and they've able to kind of get together, and they formed an actual citizens brigade, shall we say. And they do take help, but when they're out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and they are good, fine folks. If you go to their Twitter, you'll find all their links there for donation. We want them to be magnified, because when FEMA wasn't doing anything, guess what? Cajun Army was there, giving out generators, blankets, going to places where nobody would go, actually fighting with FEMA to make sure that aid got to the right people. So this group is an awesome group. If you have a little change, send it their way. If you do not have any change, no worries, no shade. Please pray. Please pray for all the men and women at the Cajun Army, all the men and women that are fighting still in California, everywhere that there's natural disasters. We pray for them, and we pray for their strength. We pray that they're safe, and we pray that they would get help. But if you do have a little change, hey, send it their way. They're a nonprofit, and they're one of those good nonprofits to where you can see where they're putting their money. But also share their information. That's free. Share it on your social medias. You can, if you can, do that favor for us, the birds, because it really helps. Everything helps. And when you have an organization that's really trying to do, good when the government's failing, that's just awesome. I just hope that you guys would really consider it, because it really would benefit them and their folks, So we're gonna check out. So we have let's see. I'm trying to see, because I had something fun and trying to check out with you. So usually we play kind of like a pet video before we end it. And this, I thought it was cute. It's a little duck watching like a bird movie. And I thought that was cute. So homeboy's watching his little cartoon, just chilling, living his little best life ever. So how cool is that? But thank you so much, everybody who joined us in today. Hopefully by next week, Ursula will be hanging out with us. But we will have more fun stuff for you today. I might do a story roundup this weekend since I had like so many that I wanted to get to. I couldn't get to because of all the confirmations today. But thank you, everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe. We are streaming on the YouTubes. We're streaming on X and Rumble. And so they all have a like button or upvote. They all have a subscription. If you're checking us out on Rumble, please subscribe, share. If you're also on X, if you guys on an X, you can follow us on X. It's just it's my account on that one. But they're all tagged, so check it out. And thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Buenas noches todo el mundo, and we will catch you on the flippity.
Ave Maria, Maria, rogai por nós, Santa Mãe de Deus.